hidden, forgotten. This is Harbor Town.
Can't they sing a new one?
What's that?
Can't they send you a new
Harbor
miniature
Town is
building
an
authority
all-new
one?
series
Don't
from
have
Miniature
one yet.
Building Authority, the leader
can't they
in
send you
tabletop
new one?
gaming scenery.
Oh, this is
Unique,
No, I got 3
flexible,
of them.
and
I just
Harbor Town will take your gaze
you know,
to
don't. The set's not even in yet, so yeah, it's been a while. I know. I know.
Still can do all of it. They trying to go for a lake town?
Yeah, kind of. We got a whole bunch of this coming.
What town would that be? Harvey?
Ah, it could be no. Well, I could use parts of it for Harvey. Yeah,
Harvey's on the water.
yeah. We'll see. I mean, I got some good stuff coming.
From the edge of the
Whoops, I missed the cue. Duh. What's up, Mark?
What's going on? Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
I don't know what happened before. But
That happens, man. You know, weird stuff. You feeling better?
yeah, a lot better.
Good. What happened? Did you get a stomach illness or something?
No, I was battling a migraine late, and I tried sticking it out, and I thought, honestly, I thought I was going to have to, like, puke right in front of everybody, so,
That would have been awesome.
yeah, for you guys. Yeah, it was bad.
Yeah, it would have been awesome for anyone.
Yeah, so I just grabbed an ice pack and laid down, and that was it.
That's okay. That gave Tom the chance to play Pelennor to Golden for the first time in ages.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, he wasn't good.
What?
It wasn't his fault. Just the character, you know. Stratagem. All right, we're real early, so I probably should have started at 7:22. I'm going to go back to the Miniature Building Authority one real quick.
From the edge
I didn't realize
of the
I started at 20 instead of 22.
Time beckons a destination.
Duh.
Hidden, forgotten. This is Harbor Town.
We get to see Harbor Town again.
Oh, God, no.
I know you love it, don't you?
Harbor Town is an all-new series from Miniature Building Authority, the leader in tabletop gaming scenery.
I'm just impressed Alan has a Batman
Flexible
shirt.
and playable. Harbor Town
Dude, I
will
got,
take your game.
wait, halfway through, I'm going to change the Flash. I have Green Lantern, Flash, Batman. I think I'm missing somebody.
And nobody has that pussy Superman.
No.
Wonder Woman?
If it came with Gal Gadot in it, yes.
Yeah, it was good. It was a good. The game Thursday night was good. So.
Good.
There's Anna. Anna. Good to see Anna. 2 weeks. 2 weeks for our next game. So, Mark, on this screen, the picture in the middle, who would that possibly have been or be? In my opinion.
If I was to guess,
Yeah. What's that?
if I was to guess, I'd say Kroger.
No, it's not Myron Hoopie's thing.
You're getting warmer.
What will it be?
Rumple foreskin.
Rumple foreskin. That's what it is.
No. Oh, that's Rumple. Rumple's a straight thief. He's not an illusionist.
I know, but still.
I would think that would be like what Phuket would look like.
Oh no.
No?
No, not
Sad.
foppish enough.
No, it's a good. It's a good picture.
It is a good picture. That's why I thought it was Kroger. That guy looks sophisticated and
It's got an evil look to him, though.
yeah.
That's why it's Kroger. Kroger is not evil.
Yeah.
He's just misunderstood.
I hate that my list for some reason just doesn't update. I know Anna's on, but it's not showing her under VIPs. I hate that. Crazy stuff.
Cray cray.
Cray cray. Very crazy. 1 minute. I'll come on a minute early.
So Jay, if we have time, and
Sure.
get Shadow Mage, want me to go over my rendition of it?
Oh yeah, that'd be cool. Sure.
Okay.
I really don't want to go over Jester and Bard tonight. That was filler, right?
Right.
So,
Let me look real quick to see if I have it, and I'll email it to you real quick.
okay. There's the Naz. Tim's on.
Or something.
What's up, Katana? So, I know we're just doing BS, our background BS, because it's our shtick. But 7:29. All right, I'll come on early here. So we got a full crew here. I got as I was devoid last week. I got 3 this week. Tim will be on and off. So hey, welcome everyone. I'm Jay, aka Lord Gazumba. I got a full crowd. I got DM Marco here tonight. I got Alan here tonight, the longest serving player with me out of anyone, which is saying something, I guess, good or bad. I'm not sure, but
And I'm old.
and Tim, the ever mysterious Tim, will be on. So I see Naz, I see Grendel on, I see Anna Meyer on. So so Naz and Anna. Well, Alan, you're like 50-50 or whatever, but Brian will make it for 5 if you want to play still. Will is in, and Will created his character for the June 1st. So just so you guys know, he's making up a fighter. I think he's making up a Battle Master fighter. So that's what he'll be playing. Which I don't know what that, I'm sorry for the 5e world, but so he'll be taking Bill's place, and then if Alan plays he can play whatever he wants as the 5th character. So that gives you, but it's 5th edition, Alan. So
Barbarian monk.
yeah. Don't know if that's allowed, but we have 3rd level characters. Like I said, I don't know enough about it to know when you can switch off and stuff. But we got a lot of new signups come on, so let me get through them. But tonight, and I don't know if a lot of you saw, but man, there was a lot of action on all the posts I put up. Multi-call sing, yeah. Yeah, I think that's supposed to say multi-classing. Yeah. But in 5th edition, I guess you can. lots of discussion about this one, and a lot of us were, when we first decided to talk about the Illusionist, we're like, it's just a class, that I'm not sure if we're going to be that thrilled about it, but like it's been vital in a lot of adventures that we've done. I just was thinking about them for good guys and bad guys. It's a rare class for us. So, Alan, you play out the most of them. Give me an impression for you about like pros and cons, just to start things off.
I played two. The first one I ever played was Mistis, and she was a straight illusionist, and that was unbelievably tough to play early on because you have no hit points, you have no real damaging spells other than Chromatic Orb, which does minimal. You don't have Magic Missile, you don't have anything. So the character, you have to be real creative to make useful, in my opinion. And you have to be creative with different spells. So
yeah,
I think it might be the toughest one to play as a straight class.
It is tough to play as a straight class, and we went through and did some research. That was me with that being. We went through some research, and we have one character in the campaign. That's it. That is a straight illusionist.
Yeah.
That's one of Alan's, because even Mistis dual class to magic user after that, which we kind of allowed after I did something with an NPC. So yes.
And now she's ridiculously powerful.
That's true. That's true. So this was an interesting one, Anna, and anyone else who knows this gentleman. He's a huge old school poster on all the sites and all, and does a lot of stories and all. So Jason Devada actually signed up as a follower last night. So that's a great thing, because Jason is a good guy there. So I look at back at Illusionist, Mark, and I would say it's not something you play a lot of.
It's not really. To be quite frank, I've never really understood the reasoning for the class. To me, it just gave basically the gnome the ability to have a magic user class. Honestly,
that's interesting. That's an interesting point of view there, and that's probably true.
I mean, some of the spells in it are really slick. I like obviously the balance that it brings to try out different stuff that didn't make the magic user all powerful. But
right,
frankly, I look at it, I go kind of like, what's the point? But
right. Okay, it's honest
I'm not
opinion.
saying it doesn't have its merit. It's not my thing.
And we have certain people that play them, and as far as you got really two options in our campaign. You either have a multi-class gnome or a dual-class human for the most part. That seems to be the two directions. And then when we get to discussing the Shadow Mage that I created off of some other things, then that was specifically made to be multi-classed. Because it was meant to enhance some of your especially rogue classes. So I don't know. Let's start at the beginning here. I look, and I got out my player's handbook, and when classes first came out, you look through this and you're like, oh, cool mage. You got 31st level spells. That's not bad, right? And then you get to the spell list on Illusionist, and there are 12 first, second, and thirds, and some of them are terrible. 8 4th, 5th, and 6th, and 6th, 7th, and that's it. And then they didn't go to 9th level, and in Illusionist they stopped at 7th, which throws another wrench into everything when you're looking at trying to balance spells with 8th and 9th level magic user spells. There aren't any on Illusionist, which means we don't have them on Necromancer and anything that we based off of that archetype, So really, it's kind of strange when you think about it, right? The levels, and I'm assuming that they. Yes, Blake Ryan, absolutely the case. Absolutely the case on that. Okay, you did send that. Thanks, Mark. I will pop it up. Yes.
Actually, it's the opposite. You need 15s in the class that you're coming from,
and 17s.
And 17s as minimums in the class you're going to.
Right. So, Blake, this is what I do. Sorry, I'm saving something that Mark sent me here. I'll put it under I'll put it under this folder for this one. So this is what I like to do. I like to allow for character development. I plan on dual classing this character. So we get a lot of human fighters at first level, and you can see right off the bat they have a 17 intelligence, or they have a 17 wisdom, or they have something that they're going to go fighter, or they're going to go fighter, thief, bard, right? And then you don't need the 17s and 18s. That's one exception, Mark, right? Correct?
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
but that's a whole separate story. The way they ran bard. Alan loves you play. Alan, how many bards do you have? You have a couple.
One.
Oh, that's it. Pendy?
Pendy.
I thought you had another one.
Let me look.
Yeah, take a look at some of your old ones. But yeah, so you had to start with 15s in the class of starting. So for like an illusionist, you need to have, and it's tough because you have to have intelligence and dex as your prime requisite, and you need 16s in them anyway to start off. So you make it with that, and then when you change over, like our dual class humans, we have tend to be other spellcasters or rogue classes, because then you almost automatically get it. Like Bill's character Galena is dual class. Oh, she started as a thief though and went the other way.
Right.
Thief illusionist, yeah. So there's a lot of things in the 1E, 2E with dual classing. We have a lot of humans that do it. Like Alan's got an archer mage, Jeez, I can't even think of the plethora of them. You have a bunch. What about your guy from the future?
Yeah, the Jetta.
Thief acrobat mage.
Thief acrobat mage. I got a ranger mage.
Right. Yeah. So you have a bunch of those.
My way up with Andrew to be the fighter thief.
Yeah. So that's right. What about your did your ranger switch over yet he did, okay. And that's cool. That's just the way our game went. And I have always allowed it, the dual classing. And there's a lot when we first started playing with just this book. I mean, everyone was playing half elves and they were playing fighter cleric mages. Mark has one. I have one. Gazumba himself's fighter cleric mage, right? Fighter cleric thief was Devitt. So we went a long way in that, and then just being a straight gnome illusionist just didn't make much sense in the game. So you were either we even had fighter illusionists, illusionist thieves. Cleric illusionist is probably one of the most powerful ones we have. So. But once I noticed something, I never knew this. So you get this player's handbook, so you got like 12 spells per level max, right? You go to Unearthed Arcana, they put a lot of dungeon hack. Yeah, okay, cool. Gnomes could be cleric thieves, really good combo. Cleric thief's a great multi-class option as it is, and we have all sorts of crazy multi-class options that I allow, as long as they don't get in balancing, Blake. So you'll probably see them as if you watch a little bit with the characters. But Cleric Thief's a good one. I prefer Cleric Mage Thief or Fighter Cleric Thief over Cleric Thief, because if you're gonna go Cleric Thief, you might as well get that Mage if you can, right? You get the Mage capability, but then you can't be a half orc in 1E, 2E Cleric Mage Thief. But Fighter Cleric Thief gives you a little more oomph, gives you more weapons, But then again, it takes forever to go up. So,
but Jay, getting back to the illusionist, I mean, I understand what Mark's saying, and I agree with him at the lower levels. But once you get up to 7th, 8th, 9th level, oh my God, the spells are unbelievable. Then, I mean, chaos, maze.
We're gonna go over them. We have the whole list. We're gonna go over the cool spells. We'll do that. Yeah, absolutely. You're absolutely correct. That is true, and there's some fantastic spells. So, and look, remember the binders falling out of the Unearthed Arcana? All right. So now 16, 16, 16, 12, 12, 12, 9. They upped Unearthed Arcana upped the level of illusionist spells by 25%. That's a lot. I was shocked. I didn't even realize how many illusionist spells, and a lot of the good ones that we all know came out of this book.
Oh yeah.
Like Chromatic Orb. Right?
Right.
So a lot of Tempest Fugit, another one. came out of here. So that was a cool thing. So
Dream came out of it too.
Dream, yeah, big one too, and I have that on that list as well. So you had at least you had some spells, yeah, at that point. So we're talking what 83. You have some spells that you could utilize, but our list is like it had to be pumped up a little bit. And if you look at our class list here, I did. So we come down here. You got your mage starting here, and you got all these mage subclasses. And then Shadow, here's Illusionist. Little Illusionist is right here, put way down, and you can be a human or a gnome, and that's it. Can you remember when Wayne tried to make a half elf out of Rondis? I said no. Fighter Illusionist. I was like no,
Yep.
and it's not happening. It's not
Well,
happening.
and I think honestly that probably is the reason why that class is so limited too. Is you figure that you only have 2 races it is that you can actually play to do so. You're not going to want to do it unless you're doing dual class. So you're really limited to 1. And there's a lot of people that just don't like playing the small races. You know, everybody likes playing the taller, so to speak, races. So having a you know, an elven or half elven character, or you know, just generally is going to lend itself not to have an illusionist class.
That's absolutely correct. Yeah, and I think it goes the other way. Without the Illusionist class, no one's playing gnomes.
Yeah.
You know, for a lot of them. I mean, how many gnomes do we have? There's some that are non-illusionists. There's not that many. Well, Grendelwolf brings up a good point with illusion spells, and I'd like to discuss this. Might as well take this on right now. That later editions changed the way illusions were worked, but you know, being in the mind more powerful when believed, and you know that ever nebulous make your can I disbelieve roll. Well, there's no rules for it, really, right? It's just like we just decided that that's, you know, how you do a disbelieve on like a phantasmal force or an audible glamour or something. There's no really set.
Or an illusionary red dragon, illusionary blue dragon.
He's not here to defend himself.
I think disbelieving is.
There he is. He is in the background. Tim's there.
Background. I think disbelieving is really basically saying, I'm going to look and see if this is an illusion. I'm not sure this.
Right.
You know, because those are things that happen to people, you know, adventuring.
You know, and that's a really weird subjective place, is that if you make this save, what happens? Like, can you tell everyone else? You know, it's tough. It's tough to DM and play. And I know because we've played together so long. Yeah, so Anna just allows one action to try and make that attempt. And Anna, is there a saving throw on that, or just you say I'm disbelieving, then it happens? You know, I love to know that. But since we know how our play styles are, we know what we can and can't get away with. Okay, it is a saving throw. Cool. With
15.
What's that?
Well, that's right. She plays Pathfinder, so they use a different.
Yeah, so it's a plus the time. Okay, it's a saving throw plus the time. Yeah, it's a tough call because, and I know I don't know if any of you others you saw it, but Anna, you may have seen it. I bet I know Grendelwolf saw it because he's on there all the time. Leonard Lakofka, there, I got it in. He was complaining all to hell about Illusionists on, I think it was Sages at Greyhawk's post that I put up saying, I don't allow a player character Illusionist within a 40-mile radius of my game. I don't know why he said 40-mile radius, but that's what he said. And then the whole discussion started from there as to why. And he said it was because my objectivity and what the expectation of the player's spell is are always so different, you know. All right, so that's good, and I didn't know that either. There's also different illusion sub-schools. Interesting. Shadow Mage is kind of a sub created out because there are shadow, like demi shadow magic is still in Illusionist, but we just took it one level further with that. So, but you know, that's it, Tim. That's exactly it. It's too close and too far. So. By the way, thanks everyone for hopping on. I knew we were going to have a huge crowd for this. I know we got a lot of people who don't like to talk, a lot online like to lurk. That's fine. But if you want to ask a question, please feel free to ask in a way. So, Tim, what about you? Observations on initial Illusionists?
If you want to mess with people, they're fun to have around. I mean,
Yeah.
It's basically like Madge, but they're forced to be subtle. And so it's kind of like if you want to have a magician, but he's a little bit more squirrely, more like misdirecting, more like specialized with messing with the senses. So I mean, I just never wanted to play a character quite like that often, unless they were a thief multi-class, which is why I have that one gnome thief illusionist.
Oh, you gave it away. I was going to trivia question. Alan, Mark, who is Tim's only illusionist?
Andrus Philandris.
Andrus Philandris. There's Tom. Hey, Tom. So, yeah, and Blake, you're absolutely correct. I've been a little bit more lenient lately with people leeway on spells. I think I've mellowed in my old age. Here's trivia question number 3 for all 3 of you. Name the 3 at one point or another. You get a bronze star if you get this. I will give you 100 Tim heads. Name the 3 characters in the order of Ulick that can be alive or dead that are illusionists.
Well, Mistis.
Mistis is 1.
That's the easy one.
That's the easy one.
Is Gleena in?
No, she's neutral, and she's also in the Great Company.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
Okay.
It's gotta be one of the old characters,
Skippy.
like Blair or Natalie or something like that.
Skippy's not it. No, it's not.
Skippy's not?
Skippy never signed, never joined.
What about Rumple?
Rumple is a straight thief. And he never joined either. He's chaotic neutral. Hey, Geek Dice, how are you, man? Good to see you on. So, the answer is Mistis is 1. Our fallen alignment, highest level illusionist from first in the campaign, Boyd, cleric illusionist, is an inactive member. He still has never been stripped of his membership. Boyd. He's evil now because he had a hell of opposite alignment put on him, but no one really remember.
Nobody's proven it yet, though.
Yeah, absolutely. The third and final is a race that I allowed to be illusionists.
Condor Whitecloud.
Yes, a wingfolk. He was a fighter illusionist. So there you go. Yes, those were the 3, and Condor Whitecloud got killed. We tried the wingfolk in player from the Best of the Dragon Volume 3. Yeah.
Just health bomber.
What that? Yeah. So
Kind of got his wings
Cover up with an illusion.
yeah, he got messed up pretty badly, but that was a long time ago. So we've only had 3 illusionists ever in the Order of Ulick out of 211 characters that have been in from day 1. That's a small number considering it was an original class. Now, Grendelwolf brought this up. When you got to, and I'm scrolling through all the resources to the left here, these books, a lot of them that we use to build this class up. So let me just, I went right by it. So when we get back to Player's Handbook 2, we get to that realm right here. Okay. Grendel was right. Best of the Dragons was a moment, especially Best of the Dragon Volume 3 Geek Dice. That's the best one out of all of them. And the Wingfolk, I believe, is in that one too. And Rocks, I gave one of those away when we hit 500 followers, and Rocks Nefarious won it. But Best of the Dragon Volume 3. And we're going to be giving away, we're 21 followers short of 1,000. 21, that's it. Okay, now I lost my train of thought here. So Grendel brought it up. All of a sudden, 2nd edition came out, and they really chopped up mages, man. They had all these spheres. And it was cool because they had Necromancy Sphere, but they had Alteration and Abjuration and Enchantment Charm. And Illusion was just sitting by itself, and it kind of became a merged. It lost its own class because a mage could cast illusionist spells. There were some applied other spheres you couldn't do it. So we kind of said we're going to keep it the way it was. And there were some more spells, but there weren't enough spells still. So really, 2nd edition didn't change our illusionist that much. Mark or Alan, do you guys recall? I mean, it probably didn't change it at all.
We haven't changed it at all since the beginning. I don't remember.
The only thing we've changed it is the spell content. That's what I'm trying to get to. So
right, we've added spells.
Yes, and here's the list. And this is where we get to when second edition came out. Forgotten Realms had a ton of books, ton of them. So here's our current list. Now notice there's notes on here still. I edit spell lists constantly. All right, here we go. So this is our Illusionist spell list to this day. All right, and you can't see the 7th. I'm sorry about that. But you're looking at, counting all the handwritten ones I have in, you got 36 Illusionist first level, 25 second, 28 third. You got a whole bunch of spells here, and even 19 7th level spells. Now, we have references from all different sorts of books, and some of them are really good, and that's why, and they're Forgotten Realms, so all you Greyhawkers, don't beat us up, please, but as you always take from a reference that's worthwhile. So I went through, and a lot of these new things are written down here. So the Relic and Rituals books will have the Shadow Mage spells. The Excalibur book, this book has a lot of our new Illusionist spells that are actually still handwritten on here. So this is a 3rd edition book. Relics and it's got a lot of really cool stuff in it. It's got really cool clerical and priest spells in it as well. I only have one copy of this book, unfortunately, so I don't have it in multiple spots. So, but it's got some great spells in it, and then we also have Eldritch Sorcery has spells in it that we used.
Yep.
The Complete Wizard's Handbook. That book is more for Shadow Mages, Wizards and Rogues of the Realm. Pages from the Mages, another one that has some spells we've used.
A really great book.
Yeah, and this is the best one of them all. The Seven Sisters, even though they're named spells, they are great spells. They're all throughout all of our lists. So SS is Seven Sisters, for example. Let me find one on here. Now I'm going to call myself incorrect, right? I can't find one. My eyesight is going, but here we go. Shadow Steel, which is probably on the Shadow Mage spell list too. So yes, there are You're absolutely correct. So that book is one of Alan's favorites. So Alan, go real quick. Talk about the Greyhawk Mage real quick, because it kind of for Blake Ryan what you just said. When he's asking about all the spells in Greyhawk Adventures that you use.
Oh, so I mean, in the Greyhawk Adventure book, which Jay has, there are some phenomenal spells in there that we go through.
I just went by it.
Yep. I actually created a class that would focus on just that book.
Yes.
The one that I picked for my trial 1 character was Nistel.
Yeah.
I love Nistel spells. They're all light colors and things like that. The Nistel's Radiant Baton, got Nistel's Flash. I mean, there's a vast amount of named spells in there that are really, I mean, unique. And if you can find the right situation to use them, are game-changing ones.
Yeah, and I think we're going to dedicate, once we get through playtest, we'll dedicate a show to the Greyhawk Mage, along with some other a show about classes created by my friends and players. I think we'll do a show on that, and that'll be one. And the Maester, we'll go back to the Maester again and talk about that one from Bill. And I think that'll be a good. We would talk about the shield thing that the other Bill created.
The Harrier Archer.
Yeah. So there's a whole bunch of classes that we've added in. But so Alan's got a Greyhawk Mage there, Blake, and it's cool because it's like a warrior mage type. But it's still a mage class, but they can start wearing armor, using some weapons. They get trained in Greyhawk City, but they have to pick one of the Circle of the Eight or someone's specialty where there's enough spells. So they could take Leomund, they could take, theoretically, Melf, but there's not a lot of them. There's a couple others, but usually it's Circle of Eight members where there's a whole list of spells that they can, but they can use other spells, but they get specialty with that. With Nistel, that's who he took. That's who they get specialty with. So it's kind of cool. It was a great concept Alan brought up. So I just wanted to share that with you.
It was inspired by the Crusader.
Because the Crusader's that way with clerical. Yeah. So that was a pretty good job on your part by getting that up, and we'll get through playtest on it. Your character's 4th now.
Is she?
Yeah, she's in the group. I think she made 4th. It's close. So, well, getting back to the Illusionist here, I just wanted to diverge when I saw that. You have all these wonderful references, and just like anything else, I've been through them, including the Great Net Spellbook. So if you can find a copy of the Great Net Spellbook from like 1995, it's old. I don't know if it's still available out there, but the Great Net Spellbook, a lot of these spells have
Download it.
GS on there.
Yeah.
And then there's a lot of dragon magazines that I didn't reference each dragon. I used to call them P packet spells. Just a photocopy. Remember in the day when you didn't, back in like the late 80s, early 90s, you didn't have digital. And getting something from scanning something into your PC to a PDF was not reality back then. You know, you couldn't even do that. So I had a big pile of just photocopies of dragons of spells. And a lot of them were for necromancers, illusionists, and some miscellaneous mage spells. And so that's what we used to do, and that's why they have a P next to them. A lot of them I'm finding are in the Wizard Spell Compendium books because they were in a reference in a Dragon magazine, and I'm just going. I'm like a 1.5 way through. I'm halfway through the second book. That's it. I haven't gotten back to that in a while. So yes, okay, yeah, printed it out once, Grundle, absolutely. So when you get to this point, you have some spells, and the class is viable. We don't use the second edition. This is it. You don't get, like, I don't know what the opposite of Illusionist is that you don't get. We don't do it that way. We do it as a 1E class. So this is your spell list. That's what you get to off of it. So here are some characters. The oldest is got to be Boyd, right? Cleric 12, Illusionist 13.
Mm-hmm.
He's a gnome. He's Walt's character. He started him off a long time ago, and he is owns a bar with Alan's character Sam that's based on a bar in Breckenridge, Colorado, right? What's the name of it, Alan?
Well, I don't remember what the real name was, but it was we called upstairs at Sam's and downstairs at Boyd's.
Right. So you have a nice bar in Altamira. I think it was something similar to that, and but he got a high level bounty hunter put a helm of opposite alignment on him, and now he does all sorts of nasty things. And the funny thing is, in Altamira, there used to be a refugee tent of squatters in the southern part of the town. The tent city is empty now, and so no one knows where all the squatters went. So that's kind of a funny.
Nobody wants to address it, but we know.
Yeah, back in the day, guys, I mean, the printer at work was always the way to go, right? Because you're like, oh my gosh, printing stuff costs. You go to the library and print something out, it's like 50 cents a copy or whatever it was. So, oh, you found it. Excellent. And I haven't looked at one in years there, Blake. I'm going to have to take a look and see how, and take a look and see if there's anything new in it. I know there's a Wild Mage Great Net book too, which I have, and I use that one. So, and then after Boyd, has to be the evil antithesis of the entire campaign for years was Pookhead, Illusionist Assassin, a very, very, very nasty combination of character because his favorite spells. Anyone remember what a lot of his favorite spells were?
Maze.
Oh, of course.
Chaos.
Yeah, but there was other ones.
Confusion?
No. 2 of them.
Paralyzation.
Vacancy. And mislead. Mislead's a nasty spell at 6th level. I think it's 6th or 5th. 6th. It's 6th level. Great spell. Now, when you combine that, any kind of Illusionist Assassin with non-detection and improved invisibility.
Well, he had non-detection as a gnome.
A deep gnome.
Right. So he had that going for him. He didn't have to cast that spell. He was impossible to kill. Impossible to kill.
Yeah, because you had to catch him at the right time with the Dispel Magic in the right place, right time, and take all his stuff off, all his buffs off. Now, see, in 5th edition, I hear you can only do like 1 buff at a time, so that kind of is gone for baddies even.
Yeah,
so.
he was of all. I mean, I've played for what 35, 40 years now, whatever it's been.
Oh, it's 41 for you.
And he was the most memorable and the nastiest evil guy we ever faced. I mean, he was worse than Makarash, worse than anybody else, worse than Holly, and there's nobody else.
It was
and he lasted years.
yeah. There you go. I had to get that last one up. We're at 979 now, so thank you. Yeah, he lasted a long time. I probably shouldn't have killed him off the way I did, kind of anticlimactically, but it was time to move on from that character. He had a weapon called Morn Blade. It wasn't the same Morn Blade that's in the deities and demigods, but if he assassinated you with it, you were unraisable. That kind of put a hurt on your day, having that. So
Just a little bit.
yeah, a lot. I killed off a lot. I had him. I used to do purges. A lot of NPCs I'd purge off. I killed off a lot of characters with that character.
He was the nastiest character you ever made.
Well, yeah, but he wasn't an army general type like Makarash was.
I don't know.
You know, he was more of a really pain in the ass character.
I don't even remember having henchmen. I just remember him.
Yeah, he was he liked being solo for the most part, but he'd show up at every high level Night of Yule adventure we did, and he caused havoc because he was always. All right, so back then when you had the Deities and Demigods book, this is before even a lot of published canon, published sources, I'm supposed to say now, on Greyhawk deities, right? You had your Deities and Demigods book. So we used the Finnish deity mythology for the most part, because a lot of Dragon Magazine dungeons had this group. There was a group called the Dark Brotherhood that worshipped Heisi, and what was the other one they worshipped? Hecate, right?
Yeah.
It was Hecate and Heisi, the god of evil. They're both Finnish deities. So we went a lot with the Finnish, Finnish gods. Like a lot of the Winchesters worship Ukko. Ukko's still in our game. So we went that direction with it, and he was a Dark Brotherhood member, which is still kind of around. Makarash was. They all were in that first organization that we of the evil doers, and but that was pre. I don't even think was the Mark. What do you think? The gods articles were just out in the dragons.
Yeah, I
pretty close.
They had just come out. Dragon Magazine wise, because most of the time we use stuff right out of Deities and Demigods itself. Not
right.
We didn't use a lot of it's very rare at the time when we would use Greyhawk deities.
Alana was the only one we used a lot of, and I'm trying to figure out why. It could have been we had. And remember, we were kids. We may have had that Dragon Magazine. It didn't have the other ones. It's very possible. So yeah, but that's a good memory there. I know we used a lot of the, because you were picking out, we pick them out from all over the different mythoses.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I had Chung Cool for the longest time for one of my characters.
Mark, wasn't one of your players mentioning Chung Cool in your game?
Yeah. Yeah, Jeff's monk.
Yeah, that's so funny.
Who he worships is Chung Cool.
That's pretty ironic when you think about it. So, all right. So they're both multi-class. Dual class. Tim, are you there?
Yeah.
Here's a quick story. Tim is playing Skeeve, and we're doing one-on-one adventuring, and we're doing Highport. And I think Tim was either on hiatus from military or something was going on, or it was during college. It could have been during college. At that era in the summer, and it was just Tim and I just doing one-on-one DMing, and he set up a thieves guild in Highport and all, and every morning this very attractive, tall, blonde female would come walking into his bakery, which was his front, buy a bunch of muffins, right, and leave, and he couldn't figure out what was he of course, paranoid, all these detect spells, nothing ever worked on her. And it turns out her name was Lady Valencia Page, and then Lord Page is like He's a high-level cavalier, super high, and he's got a lightning bolt symbol as all his men, and he's chaotic neutral. He's beholden to no one. Well, this was his his wife that was about to leave him, and she was a dual class illusionist mage, the first one I ever had, right? So she had all these powers, but she was powerful in her own right. And so,
she was 15 illusionist.
No, I got her down. I just looked at her sheet. I still have it. 1214. That's it. Illusionist mage.
That's it.
1214. That's it. So, and that's going back. And that led to Alan's, so Tim, what do you remember about like her and remember about that whole thing, that experience? Because you could never figure out anything about her
Never figure it out.
because an illusionist.
Except it was, I remember the moment that he figured out she was more than just some strange person, when he just cast ESP on her, and kind of got the gist of like, oh, this is a very complicated, interesting mind, because it was kind of like I was ESPing her and realizing she's ESPing me. It's like,
Yes. So we able to take. This was the first dual class human I could think of that appeared in our campaign. That was an illusionist. Of some
absolutely.
Sort, of some sort, and that's going back. This has got to be what, in the 80s, 87, 88. This has got to be at that point. Yeah. So, but that led to a lot of fun things. That led to, why can't we do that why can't I do that? And that's when Alan made a decision on his character.
Mhm.
So Tim, what any other memories from that Skeeve era? So if any of you watch when we're playing, her and Skeeve's kids are actually in the Hardby campaign that we're doing with the Michael Baton and all that. So yes, good.
under aliases. So,
So what do you think, man? Any other memories?
it was so fun because solo adventures are dangerous. It doesn't matter what level you are.
Yeah.
And I was trying to not make a big, because you basically implied, hey, whatever you use is going to be requisite responses and power level. So
yeah,
he was keeping. I mean, I was using cantrips to dye my hair different colors and change for disguises just so we look different. Walked around.
Because he's a mage thief and he's super high level.
And and then of course,
Half elf.
Yeah, it was just a fun adventure. And he ends up now. He's actually in control of the humanoid, demi-human, and human Steve's guild.
Right. Absolutely. And there's another story on that which we'll get to one day with when other people came in and tried making their guilds up as well.
Yeah.
But it was cool because you came across someone of your same power level who was an illusionist.
Was it one of the villains, illusionists, or if they weren't a villain, they had some illusionist abilities?
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of the head nobility, like the oligarchy running the town. So but Lord Page and his guys were there, and I'm just saying, a super high level cavalier and his troops, and they're beholden to no one. And if you see them within the next couple of weeks, don't be surprised. That's all I'm saying. Yes. So Alan, tell us about Mistis after this happened. What did you do with her? She was a straight illusionist at the time.
So, well, no, actually, I think I might have started playing her just because of no. When I first started playing her, she would just be a straight illusionist. I want to see how it would be if I could get an illusionist up to the higher levels as quickly as possible.
You got her to 11th.
I got her. Well, no, she got a book later that got her there. But
hey, TTRP Theater, thanks a lot. I noticed I've seen you on Greyhawk Channel too, and here and all the boards. Thanks a lot, man. Appreciate it.
My favorite. I have two favorite memories of her at low levels.
I know one.
She was a first or second level.
Oh, this is a great story.
So
this is a great story.
And all of a sudden, these zombies were coming, and a second level illusionist against zombies is completely useless. Completely useless. She's standing there, and Wayne, one of the guys we played with back then, had a fighter cleric. No, a stray cleric.
Yeah.
A stray cleric.
Torin.
Torin. And still on her sheet today, she has this marked down.
Yeah.
And Torin jumps behind Mistis and hides from the zombie.
Yeah.
And I mean, clerics are designed to fight zombies. That's their job.
Yeah. That was so funny.
It was, oh my God. Of course she died. One swing and she was dead. She might have had, 8 hit points? Or maybe 2 swings.
Yeah.
But, yeah, that's one of the times she died. My second favorite time was she was now higher level, probably 7th or 8th, straight illusionist still, and she was going and we were playing this red dragon.
The Wounded Worm. It's a module in a dungeon magazine. It doesn't
Right.
have its wings, and it's in an underwater lair. Go for it.
There you go. So she is out of spells. She's at the end. She has one wand left that's working, and it's perfect for a red dragon. A wand of flame extinguishing. There is nothing better against the red dragon. And so we roll initiative and lose.
Yeah.
The dragon breathes on her, and the only thing that's left of her, because she got with like minus 50 or whatever, was her thumb, which was behind the wand.
Yes.
And I think she had to be resurrected from that.
Plus, your spellbook got burnt too.
Everything got toasted. I mean, she's got a really. I mean, I was just looking at her spellbook right now. She has the most she has in any one class, which is ridiculous, is 9.
An illusionist or in mage?
In Illusionist. No, Mad, she's got a ton.
She got a ton of mage, yeah.
But in Illusionist, she has 9. That's the most she has.
She probably has the most. Now, she dual classed the mage, which I allowed because of the Lady Page rule. She has the most spells cast out of she can cast out of any character in the campaign, correct?
Yeah, she can. She has a total. I counted it up once. She has 232 total spells
In the book.
Yes, and of them, she can memorize 53.
53 spells.
So
She has a couple rings.
An adventure. She has to take like a month off just to memorize all the spells again.
Yeah, absolutely. But that just shows you that dual classing was the way to go with the illusionist. So
Yep. Well, we got to add. There's one other thing that sets Mistus apart from any other person in the entire campaign, which is one spell.
Yeah, that's a mad spell though.
Yes. All right. So here we go. I've told this once before. All those spells geek dice, but
So the spell's called Heiny Spiders.
yes, and
It's a 6-level mad spell, and she's the only one who's ever cast it.
yes, except for the bad guy who had it. Have you ever seen? All right, I'm sorry. This is us being childish, but Walt was down the shore one summer with a surfer dude he lived with named Jimmy, and Jimmy's dog would always it was a German Shepherd, would always scratch its butt along the carpet, and that's what he termed it as, and it's kind of stuck. So that's what happens. You cast that spell, you fail your save, and then you get this itching in your rectal area, and you got to rub your ass along the ground. That's basically the spell. And she's the only one with a spell in the campaign. So
there's also something interesting about her family. Her half brother's Garth.
Garth, yes. A lot of people don't know that. So yes, Alan has a lot of inbreeding in his family, so that unbeknownst that you know.
No, it's just the crazy father.
Yes.
Would go and impregnate various races.
Right. So he has a half orc, a human, and a half elf, all that are brothers and sisters, and they don't know it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's pretty good. I mean, Alan's very good at character development there. So not as disturbing as Tim is, but
Tim is more disturbing.
I like creative.
Creative is the right word. Did you ever use has anyone ever used an evil antithesis, Mark or Tim, as a illusionist?
As an illusionist? Oh, yeah. I was going to actually bring up the only other reference that I can ever remember where illusionists become pretty heavily used is were-rat illusionists.
Oh, that's good.
Look at a lot of modules, you always find
That's true.
A were-rat illusionist for some reason.
That's absolutely true, man. Very, very true. So, Tim's more on the Death Masters and Witches of the world, right? When he does the anti-paladins, those old school guys. I don't ever.
Tim has a lot of illusions though in his adventures.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does. Tim's
Dragon
very
heads and stuff like that.
Tim is very. Well, that's a Phantasmal Force spell that a mage could cast, but it is in the illusion realm. So here's all right. Let's each of us pick, and we'll start with Alan. Pick a spell that is cool that you do not get, or you get it in a better form from illusionist instead of mage. Go.
So my favorite one right now, and let me pull up my Kroger spell list, is Tempest Fugit.
Yes, 5th level, Princess Maker, thank you so very much. We're getting there. 19 to go. 19 to go to that 1,000. I have some giveaway. We have giveaways from Stratagem and Miniature Building Authority, but we're going to do some more at 1,000 followers whenever that happens. Go ahead. Tempest Fusion's a great spell.
So, I mean, I don't have it in front of me, but from what I remember, what it does is basically speeds up time for anybody within the area effect. Where that becomes super powerful is that you have an overnight adventure where you're actually resting and getting spells back, and it allows everybody in the party to get back a ton of spells instead of the normal 1/5 level. I think, from my memory, like, I have to look at the spell. I think it's you get like 4 or 5 nights of rest in one night.
Right. Tie this in with his character that does this is Kroger Blackrock, another gnome, deep gnome. Illusionist Thief 1213, member of the vaunted Iron Brigade in Greyhawk City. By the way, my article "Free Swords at Greyhawk" will be in the next Earth Journal, which will describe all the different mercenary groups. A little bit of blurb on that one because I'm going to do a separate article on them. But that's where this character comes from. This is super effective, right? With this party, everyone gets their spells back very quickly. And 1E, 2E, it's huge. It's like everyone has a Ring of Sustenance on. So great pick, Tim. Pick one.
Improved invisibility.
Yes,
absolutely.
4th level, improved invisibility. What does it do?
You are invisible, and you can still attack. You still can go offensive, and you stay invisible.
One of Phuked's favorite tactics. It's a must-have for for any illusionist, right? It's only an illusionist spell. So far, Tempest Fusion and this are only an illusionist spells so far, and it's good that they're not. See, this is where 2nd edition you could get an abjuration or something spellcaster that could get illusionist spells. It got all messy. Where we didn't, that's why we wanted to stick some of these really cool spells in illusionist only. Yes, a very nasty tactic to be fighting. Think about this. Think of a gnome fighter illusionist. Now they don't get multiple attacks or specialization, but that could be nasty too.
Yeah. Well,
Illusionist Assassin is even nastier, though. Yeah.
I was going to say Illusionist Thief.
You can cast that on something else, too. So
no, I think it's self-only.
Self-only?
I think it is. I got it right here. I'll take a look.
Yeah, because you could cast it on a nasty pet. You could just stick to the side and pass.
I think it's self-only, but let me take a look at this. I think it's self-only because, once again, we'll pull this up here. I'll do it right here. So, we'll do here the Tim critical hit head. We're trying to stretch the rules here a little bit, right? Let's see.
You could do it on an invisible skeleton.
He's right. Range is touch.
So you could turn your dragon invisible and just sit back and watch it just come in. Stealth fighters, stealth bombers. Boom.
There's Celestian Mike. And by the way, guys, Celestian Mike Wilson should be on the show next week talking about Fantasy Grounds.
Brilliant.
Yes, it's going to be awesome. All right, Mark.
So I've got one that you don't actually have on the list of notes.
Oh, okay.
Wraith Form.
Wraith Form, 3rd level.
Yes.
Yep.
That is one out there after Arcana.
Yep.
You can float around. You're invisible. Undead don't even care about you.
Yep.
You can go through cracks.
Pass through cracks and doorways and in floors.
You can fly.
That's a good one.
Absolutely. Gives you the ability to basically be, so to speak, liquid, if you will. Being able to chase after something or hide from something.
Yeah.
It's a fantastic spell.
My turn. I'm going to be very basic. Maze is an 8th level mage spell. It's a 5th level. It's a 5th level illusionist spell. There's
none.
Saving throw is none. And unless you have a Scabbard Protection in 1E, 2E, you ain't making a saving throw on that, and you're stuck in that. Or if you're a Wild Mage, you have Maze Run on, which Miracle the Chaotic did in preparation for you, Alan, that night, right?
Absolutely.
Yes. So Maze is a great spell. At 5th level, it's even nastier because you could take out a fighter who's probably not that bright and have him stuck in a maze for 3 to 12 rounds or whatever, take him right out of the fight. So next round. We'll go one more round on this. This is fun. Go ahead, Alan. Pick one.
I've got 2 that I love, but if we're picking one, especially from Chromatic Orb.
Chromatic Orb. And why? It's first level.
It's a first level spell, and it ramps up as you level up, which
Yes.
makes it a very interesting spell. You don't have to decide which color orb you throw until you actually throw it. So if there's something you want to specifically hit, you can change it to that. But at Kroger's level now, he can turn things that fail their saves to stone.
You can also kill outright, can't you?
Oh, yeah. Well, turn a stone is pretty much kill outright. But yeah.
Oh, and tell them what you do. Tell the story. This is a great story.
So he owns, I believe it's Otto's house, correct?
Otto Luke's.
Otto Luke's house.
Yeah, it was an adventure where Otto Luke's house came up for auction.
Right. So he bought it. He outbid everybody because he just wanted to be cool. And he's got a nice sized front yard. And on the front yard, every single monster he's ever turned to stone is now a statue on his front yard. And I don't have the list with me. Jay might have it there, but
I
he's
don't,
got
unfortunately.
Minotaurs, and he's got a beholder, and all these other wild things on his front yard. Of course, he hollows them out in case somebody decides to rot and flesh them.
Yeah, because
so
no one would
come back to life.
Yeah, it's probably a smart move because you know how evil I would be. So Chromatic Orb is right in the Art Arcana, and if you look at it under Illusionist, it's a great spell because it really does ramp up. So wait a minute, where is it?
The only negative about it is you have to roll to hit.
Yes, you do, but you get +5 at short range or whatever.
But it gives you pluses for range and pluses for your dex.
And
so
since
you're close in,
high dexterity.
Yeah. It's a good one. It goes all the way up to 12th level. Ashen. Paralysis if you make your save. Fail death.
And it's great.
No,
but I mean, even if you go back and look at the magnetism one, I mean, think about it. You're fighting a fighter with a bunch
Turquoise, 6th level. Yeah.
6th level. Boom. You hit him with it. All of a sudden, his weapons are stuck to his armor.
Yeah.
For what is it? 1 to 4 rounds or something like that?
Magnetism. It's a certain. It's something. 3 to 12.
I mean, think about how incapacitating that is to a fighter if all his weapons are stuck to his armor.
Yep, absolutely. Another great one. All right, Tim, next.
I'm going from memory, not from notes or anything, but I think their version of Mirror Image is better. Don't they have a better version?
Good call. Mirror Image is one more image, 2nd level spell. So if you're 3rd level, you cast it. Good call, Tim. It's one more. So instead of 1 to 4 images, you get 2 to 5 images plus yourself. So actually, you can have 6 images total, counting yourself, as opposed to 5 with a mage.
Those cowards.
Yes, that is it. Yep, and that's on the list. Check mark off for that. Absolutely, good one, man. Go ahead, Mark.
So one that is primarily only used by illusionists is Dispel Exhaustion.
Yes,
absolutely. That's my other one.
Fantastic one. For those that don't know that one, that allows the illusionist to touch up to 4 people within a round and basically restore for 3 turns per level 50% of their overall hit point.
And if any of you watched our fundraiser on March 23rd, when we fought a Miracle the Chaotic with the Orb of the Dragonkind fundraiser, where we raised over $1,000, and we had all these super high level characters. Alan had Kroger, and at a point, Anna played in that, and all. It was a great time. But there were a lot of people way down. He cast the spell magic, and you got Boots of Speed, right?
The spell exhaustion. He has Boots of Speed. Yeah.
And they went, and 4 people went up, and people were down like 100 hit points and stuff. And he used it. All of us played in that.
I was not familiar with that spell, and I was wildly pleased at seeing it.
Yeah, absolutely. And so technically they have a healing ability. It's fake healing, but that healing comes off first. So if you get re-damaged, that comes off first. So, and that's a spell. I don't even know if that exists in 5th edition anymore or whatever. It's a great old school spell. Great call on that one.
Player's Handbook.
It's Player's Handbook, yeah, absolutely.
I mean, that's been around forever, and I don't think we used it for 20 years. And then all of a sudden, I think one of us, might have been me even, I don't remember, was reading it, and we're like, whoa, this is pretty powerful.
Yeah.
And I mean, think about it. If you're doing a Cavalier with 130 hit points who's down to 20 hit points, you can give him back 55 hit points just like that. That's better than any healing spell out there. And you can do it to 4 people instantly.
I think we'll be able to go one more round, but my turn next. Dream.
Oh, yeah.
Dream is the low level, I lost a finger, or I lost a hand, or I lost my nose or my teeth spell. Because Dream is it's 5th level illusionist. So it's not like a what do you call it? A regenerate spell, which is crazy. It's a 7th level clerical spell, which is a 16th level priest, which is so if you lesser. It says right in the spell, lesser appendages can be dreamed back over a course of a night, right? So you can pay an illusionist in the town. Say you lost your hand from the wrist. You could pay, and what do we charge? 2,000 gold, 2,500 gold normally is the rate. Yeah, around that. So in major cities, you can actually get a limb or an ear or nose or teeth, whatever, a scar, dreamed back. And so that's kind of a neat use of it. There's other things you can do with dream, like heal the party or whatever, or, if there's no cleric available. There's a lot of things, but it's a cool spell. That's an illusionist spell. So I think we got enough to go one more round. Go ahead, Alan.
Again, I can think of 5 or 6 more, but I'm going to pull one deep out of here.
Okay.
And go with Lord Levine's Creeping Shadow.
Lord Levine's Creeping Shadow, a spell from the Tome of Magic.
And the reason I love that, especially because Kroger is one who uses it all the time, is a thief. What it does is it allows you to extend your shadow out.
3rd level.
And you can go out hundreds of feet, and you can see whatever your shadow sees. So you can put it up the wall of a castle, look in the top window.
Mm-hmm.
You can do whatever you want with it. It's almost impossible to detect. So it is a great reconnaissance tool.
You actually used it that night too. Again, yep.
I always take that as one of my spells. Just because, hey, I don't want to go in and look in that room. I'll send my shadow in there, and you can see, you can hear, you can do everything through it. It's a great spell. And that's something I'm surprised Tim doesn't use all the time.
I will now if I ever.
Tim, you're up.
Reconnaissance. Non-detection.
Yes, a very basic 3rd level spell, but
it kept me from detecting a lot of crap when I was in the high fort.
Okay, Geek, I appreciate, hey, man, that's what we're here. We're here for the old school, and I really appreciate the compliment. Thank you. And we just, because, we love our game. We want to share it with everyone. And, it's just getting more and more popular with what we're doing here. But thank you very much for that compliment. Non-detection combined with improved invisibility is the nastiest combination there is. Because yes, also that too, Celestian, an amulet of non-detection is even worse because you can't detect their alignment. You can't even detect that they're there. Yes, and I've learned my lesson by giving out a lot of that stuff. So I've kind of weaned it back a little bit. But another Puked instance or another illusionist assassin, illusionist thief instance where they can come up on you and you don't even know that you're gonna have to attack them blindly.
I don't remember you giving it away, but I do remember having to fight really hard to kill the people who had it.
Right. It's tough. It's a tough situation to be in. That's why you always need dispel magics around, man. But a great call. And Mark, for your last one, what do you have?
But my last one is a classic one that I think everybody remembers for the Illusionist, and that's Phantasmal Killer.
Yes, 4th level Phantasmal Killer. A spell that we always did wrong.
Yeah. But the basic gist of it is it's an illusion of your greatest fear. And basically it gives you a singular save that is not a regular saving throw. It's against, I believe you're intelligent, if I remember correctly.
First of all, you have to hit. The monster has to hit you with like 4 hit die.
Yep.
And that's what we always forgot, that it was an automatic hit. We did it as it was an automatic hit, but it's not. Yes. And then it's an intelligence roll on 3d6. And if you roll over your intelligence, you're scared to death.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a nasty spell. And there's okay, on here, Fog of Nightmares is 5th. This is a Great Net Spellbook version. It's a 7th level illusionist spell, Great Net Spellbook. It's a mass Phantasmal Killer spell, if I recall correctly. It's called Fog of Nightmares out of the Great Net Spellbook, and it's on the list here, but we don't have anyone, that's a super high level one. All right, my last one, I have 2, and since I'll go over both of them. The first one I talked about, and that's the Mislead spell. When you cast Mislead, you're running this way, and your image is running the other way or going, and everyone, it looks, you can't detect it. It looks absolutely real, and he would always use that to get away. because you see him taking off, and they'd all be shooting arrows at him, the archers and stuff, and it looked like it would hit him, but it didn't. That's a 6th level spell. And then this one, for some reason, only illusionists and straight fighters get a saving throw, and we never figured out why. Chaos, right?
That's nasty.
It's disgusting. Chaos is confusion, but it is a no save confusion, 5th level that illusionists can cast. But illusionists and straight fighters. So if you're a multi-class fighter cleric mage, you get it. But if you're a ranger, no. Paladin, no. Cavalier, no. You have to be a fighter class. I don't know why it's written that way, but that's the way it's written. And that's the way we stuck with. But it is, if you want to cause a world of hurt with no saving throw, that's the spell. It's only 5th level once again. So that was fun going through all those. I'm glad we did that. And we missed blur, color spray, paralyzation, vacancy, death fog. There's a lot of great.
Blades of Fury.
Blades of Fury. Yeah, there's a lot, and that's another great net spellbook spell.
Prismatic spray.
Prismatic spray. Yeah, absolutely. That's 7th level. Okay.
For 1st level magic users.
Yeah. Well, you gave it away. My trivia question was this to the audience: is magic missile an illusionist spell?
I know.
Is anyone in the audience, is magic missile an illusionist spell? The answer is yes, because of this little tidbit in the book where you at 7th level, 1st level magic user spells, and you get 4 or 5 of them. So if you take that at a 7th level cast, you're going to take magic missile, because if you are a 15th level illusionist and you get 4 or 5 magic missiles now, I mean, and they're 8 die, 4 plus 8, no save. That's a lot of damage. So, and you can cast it 4 or 5 times. But the answer is, technically, if you get up to be able to cast 7th level illusionist spells, then you can get magic missile.
Yep.
So that's a little quirk in the rules.
Sorry, in all reference to
and it just said no.
in all reference to Gary and everybody else, that was one of the dumbest things that I've ever in class.
It is dumb, but we kept it in for fun.
What was that? I missed that. What was it?
So when illusionist casts it, it's not a physical blast, but psychic trauma. No, so when illusionist casts a magic missile, it's the magic missile spell, because they're getting 1st level magic user spells. It's stupid. It's right, but it's right in the book. You look it up. If you have an old player's handbook on Art Arcana, it's at the bottom of the list of 7th level illusionist spells. Yeah, yeah.
Well, why not? They're powerful enough illusionists. They should be able to dabble with first level magic user spells.
Exactly. It's one of those, it makes no sense quirks.
Makes about as much sense as why the bard was the bard.
Right. Why the bard has to go fighter, then thief, then bard, and
druid.
Yeah.
Or,
Part of
and at this rate, we will not get to the bard tonight, but that's okay.
Part of a cultural.
I think the board should be separate anyhow.
Yeah, I agree too. On that, Alan. Absolutely. Yes, Celestian, you're absolutely correct. It's like I said, it rarely comes into play because I think you have to be a 14th or 15th level illusionist to cast that. We don't have them running around in our game even after 40 years. The highest player character is a 13th level illusionist, 12-13 cleric illusionist. The highest active character is Kroger, 12th level illusionist, 13th level thief. So and he has 6th level spells. That's the highest we have. So we don't really have to worry about that much. But still, it's one of those. That's a good question for Luke or Gary, Luke or Ernie Gygax. We should ask them who came up with that idea. You know what? If I get Leonard on the show, I'll ask him. Well, maybe not. Maybe I shouldn't ask him that. All right. So anyone else in the audience or anyone else have any other input or questions about the Illusionist? I think it has its place. It's not, I mean, Magic users much more flexible. So, yes, the wizard specialist Celestian, you and I we created Elementalist, as you know. We created the Shadow Mage. We have Necromancers. We made them all their own classes instead of sphere-based 2E, where it's a flexible mishmash, and you only can do those classes that are opposed. They're the only ones you don't get. But everyone has his own, thought about that, which is cool. So hopefully we can talk about 2E Fantasy Ground stuff next week. That'd be awesome. So, all right. Well, let's get on to the next one. I've been working on this for years, and I never had enough spells. I had like 3 or 4 spells per level, and it pissed me off. And then these Relic and Rituals books, I got a hold of these, and they're fantastic. Combine that with, let's see, the Complete Wizard's Handbook, Pages from the Mages, 7 Sisters, and then if we go back, and I haven't even talked about these. I'm sorry, I'm pilfering from Forgotten Realms stuff, but sorry. Pages from the Mages, 7 Sisters, Magic Faerun books, great. Champions of Ruin for Shadow Mages is great, and Lords of Darkness. I got spells from all of them to create a new custom spellcasting class, the Shadow Mage. Oh, I have these books right here. So there's a Champions of Ruin book, right? And then there's the Lords of Darkness book. They're actually here. And here we go. Shadow Mage. The Shadow Mage is its own class, but it's based on Illusionist tables with a couple of exceptions on experience. It goes up much more slowly. It's minus 10% to experience, but if you have your 10% bonus, you're at 0 for us in 1E, 2E. It's Forgotten Grail Grums. Yes, Grendel, absolutely. So, well, we always have original thought, Naz. Unfortunately, yeah, I wish I did, but I kind of came up with this idea, but I didn't know about Shadow Dancers and stuff, and then I got that Wizards and Realms, Lords of the Realm book too, and I was like, oh wow, this is cool. And Mark has his too, which Mark has a little bit of a different feel. His does. Where did I put all those books? So you have this book here as well, Wizards and Rogues of the Realm. Very clean book. This was meant as an RP class, and again, the story goes as this: in our city of Altamira, there's a whole like noble section where people have very expensive estates. There's this thing that looks like the what was the thing in 2001: A Space Odyssey called that big black thing? Obelisk. There's a tower that's it's just black, just like that. No windows, nothing. No way in, no way out. No one knows whose tower it is. And even supposedly the people of the city are like, oh, he got the permits and built it. We don't know. So these characters, when we did the group, the Night Stalkers, I said, I want everyone to have one of these. So Alan has one, and that's Dalek, right?
Yep.
They'll begin with D for some weird reason. Bill has Dinara, and I have Danye Rothschild. Okay? So there's 3 of them. They're Shadow Mage thieves, and they can be human. There's a weird thing where quirk on this class. I allow multi-classes with humans on this. So they got like a mental, they're all mage types, and they got this mental projection into their head to come to this tower here, and I want you to start training as a Shadow Mage instead. And it's happened to other characters. And it's all coming from this tower. None of them know what is going on. Except when they went on adventures, they started finding items that enhanced their spells even further. They found this weird shadow amulet. It was an amulet that they wear and had all these open gem slots. So these gem slots, the first gem slot they got, they found it on it. It just so happened that they found it on the adventure. It's kind of like being led by the nose. Someone is doing this, trying to build a power base up of spellcasters, these Shadow Mages. So the first one they did, the main spell is like Shadow Bolt's like the magic missile of this class. So they put that gem in the amulet, and now their Shadow Bolt gets an extra hit point of damage for every 3 levels that they go up. And then there's other increased abilities, but that's the whole theory behind why this class was created. It's actually someone wants Shadow Mages to come up in power for some who knows what purpose down the road. Once again, this is one of my 15, 20, 25-year arcs I do. So this is not linked. No, this is not, Blake. This is not linked to Shadow Dragons or Jaram out there as the Veil of the Mage. This is something I did completely separate. Here's a spell list, and when you can see, look at all the notes on this. Shit all over the place on this. Now, Mark, yours is a little different. Why don't you explain yours, and I'll go back to mine.
Yeah, so mine is more, it's kind of like what you actually have with the Thief class, but it's intended to be a singular class. So mine is more along the lines of a Shadow Strider, is what you would basically have. So he actually has the ability, some special abilities where he'll get things like infravision, even if he's human, night vision, where he can see in normal, but in all but complete darkness. He gets a shadow stride ability, which is basically they gain the ability to hide in shadows just like these do at 2 levels lower, but they also get to jump through shadows. So for every successful hide in shadows that they actually do, they get to move up to 10 feet per level per day. So, you know, at 3rd level, then obviously it's 30 feet and so forth.
Are they a mage? They are spellcaster subclass just like this, and they use the same
Correct.
spells, but they have some other abilities. Do they have rogue abilities too?
No. In this case, they are strictly supposed to be a singular class mage. No differently than what you would have with like an illusionist or a wild mage in that case. But it just gives them more of an ability to be able to survive in a specific area where you have players that are looking to have kind of like that darkish kind of magic user. And I have one in mind today that plays in Slap, named Nebulous the Gray, actually.
Yeah.
That plays this class. And so there's some variations on it. It's never intended to be a multi-class. It's really kind of based a little bit upon what you actually have, Jay, and then some incorporated things into it too. So we're kind of play testing it. So far, so good. I think that it kind of has some merit in it. But that's the basic gist.
And some minor differences. If you go to this book here for us, so if you go to this Wizards and Rogues of the Realm book, and there's on page 81, I think this is out of the Shadow Dancer, some special abilities that we allow. So we allow that we have the night vision. We allow and this is a free action. This is called the Shadow Aura. So you'll hear Bill doing this all the time because Bill, who's not on tonight, loves Shadow Mages. He almost has one in almost every group. And they tend to be either a bounty hunter or an assassin type or something. And then Alan and everyone else is complaining, you allowed an assassin in this group, right? So we, the spells, they can create more shadow around them so that their hide and shadow thief ability is enhanced. So it's a multi-class option for us. It's Shadow Mage, then some other class that the Shadow Mage spells are going to enhance. Now, they do have some offensive spells. Here's the thing. We don't have one higher than 7th level in the campaign. Right now, yours is 7-8, I think, right? 7 Shadow Mage, 8 Thief, I think, is the highest that we have. So we don't have it, and I don't think you get 4th level Illusionist and Shadow Mage spells till 8. So we have no one in the campaign that can cast higher than a 3rd level spell yet.
He's 7-8.
Yeah, and
Shadow Mage.
Yeah, so, but there's some great spells. Now you have your shadow evocation spells, like, so you know how you have shadow magic, which was illusionist, and demi shadow magic, which created the illusion of a fireball. But even if they made their save, they got 1 hit point per level, or if they failed their save, they took full damage. Well, there's one called minor shadow evocation. That's 2nd level. What spells does that do, guys?
Well, you can do fireball.
No, the 2nd level one, minor shadow evocation.
Oh,
it's magic missile, isn't it?
Or it's one.
Mel's arrow.
It can do a fake magic missile and Mel's arrow. So the 2nd gem that they found in an adventure that fit into their shadow amulet was +1 hit point per bolt from the minor shadow evocation spell, magic missile, or Mel's arrow. So someone now has given them another gem that enhances that spell, because that's kind of like the bread and butter magic missile, of their thing. They can do shadow bolt, or they can do the minor shadow evocation of that spell. All right. So some other ones: Dark 10 Shadow Bolt does like a die 6 per level, and that's a single target spell. That's 3rd level. There's some really cool ones like battle projection. I know you've used that, right?
No, I use project image.
Projected image, but no.
It's an illusionist spell.
Yeah. There's one called battle projection, which is kind of like a projected image, but it's melee. So if you're standing in a certain spot and you have a battle projection spell on, and I think it's right here, 3rd level, battle projection, you can have your shadow move the projection of yourself move like 90 feet and attack with the projection itself, and it does real physical damage. So you don't have to move, which is kind of cool. You know, if in the right position, you could actually get a backstab out of it. That's a neat spell. They get Wraith Form because that's Shadow. They get a whole bunch of Wall of Gloom.
What level's that battle projection?
It's third.
Maybe I have used it.
I think you did use it. The coolest of them all is Malicious Images. Does someone want to explain that one? Third level.
So yeah, it's when somebody casts Mirror Image on themselves. If you cast that spell, basically their images become evil and attack them.
I love that spell. Yes. Hey, Baboonsky, good to see you, man. Glad to see you on tonight. Yes. So, Malicious Image will actually have a caster's mirror images turn on them. I love it. Good to see you, man. Appreciate you coming on. There's some really great high-level spells we haven't gotten to yet, and I've been adding a lot of them. But you know, they get the creation spells. They get basic spells like Pass Wall is considered a shadow spell. You know, Fear, Shades, and then they got Shadow Gauntlet. You know, there's a Black Mantle. You know, and then Shadow Magic and Demi Shadow Magic. It's a cool Duo Dimension. Another one that you would think it's Old Mage would be perfect for Shadow Mage. So it's basically an enhancement to a rogue class, but you know, they found 4 gems so far for their Shadow Amulet. The third one gives them either a bonus first and second level spell to their casting repertoire, or a bonus third, which is kind of powerful. And then the fourth one allows them to cast one spell at 1 to 4 levels higher once per day, as an elementalist does. So now they've been ramped up by this, and they still don't know who's actually leading them this direction. Well, we'll find out one day. Hopefully before I retire, right? So yes, no, but it's special class. It's in a long-term play test. Bill's going to town with it. Right, he's got like how many? He's got like 3 or 4 Shadow Mages.
Got a bunch of them.
He's got a bunch of them. He really loves the class. Basically, being able to increase your hide and shadows % early on is a huge benefit. I think one of his guys is a half orc. No, it's not half orc. He's half elf. I think he's Shadow Mage Assassin, and he can really move around very stealthily with the abilities that you get with as a Shadow Mage. So definitely something interesting. Like I said, as always, I will. Well, Cloak of Displacement, Baboonsky is a huge bane of all of us, and what we did. So I had to cometize one last week, right?
Yeah.
Yes. So Walt's character Schlemmenmeal, high level dwarf, he had a Cloak of Displacement out. You know, it was a long time ago. I don't know if I've given out one in the last 25 years. I don't think I have. There's certain things you want to make very rare, and that's one of them. Yeah, absolutely. So anyone have any questions about the Shadow Mage? I know, Alan, you got like 10 minutes before you're bolting. So
yeah, probably a little less than that.
Yeah. I know the Game of Thrones thing. We'll go from like this viewership number, it'll just drop down. So, all right, let's talk. Well, we got a little time here. We'll talk about one. We won't get to the Bard, but let's talk about the other one. Oh, it's painful. But I have the article, and I'm going to say this. All right, this is going to. Yes, I know Anna's staying. This is, in my opinion, and you can all argue with me about this. That Dragon number 60 is one of the 3 best Dragon magazines ever written. It has the Elven point of view in it by Roger Moore, the half-elven point of view in it. It has this class in it. The Jester. Hey, comical, clever, charismatic new NPC. All right, so another article by Roger Moore. Now, this is a thorn in the side entertainment value class at all. I would not recommend it as a PC. It's very, very weak. Right, Mark?
painful.
It's painful.
Makes you want to put an ice pick in your eye.
But I tend to use them. There's a family in Selene, the Craxus family. That I have two of them. Harrison, Harrison was a bounty hunter. The next one was, his name was Drippy, right? Theodore Craxus. If you can figure that out, yeah, you get the joke. Okay, his name was Theodore.
Yep.
Okay, and then what's that?
I don't get it.
Yeah, you don't get it. And then I have Theo and Theo's Heroes. He's the leader of that group in Altamira because of no one named it, so he said, I'm going to name it. Well, I added to their spell list, and they got a couple spells that are mostly enchantment charm spells, but you'll see some crossovers to maybe some illusionist ones. That's it on their spell list because they have a huge spell failure %. They can catch items. They can do all sorts of they can, dumb things, juggle. They're really bad thieves. They can only pick pockets, climb walls, and catch objects.
The one redeeming factor, they can evade.
They can evade. There's a second one too.
The second one more important. They can control a wand of wonder.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they're immune to insanity, which is really weird. But so yeah. But
Then what happened to Drippy?
He's not insane. Remember, he has the wand of dog call he uses all the time, right? So they have a base table, and the reason I bring them up here is it's kind of like got that bardic feel to it, and if you ever want to do an NPC to your group and really want to just, oh God, how do I say this? Annoy them, but not really punish them, then the Jester's the way to go, and I'll help you with it. So if anyone wants the information on this, I'm probably the best of all time, right, Mark, at it. Hey, what was yours? Psych Gibwanger, right? That was your gnome? Yeah.
Yes. He was just there just to piss Wayne off.
Yeah, well, absolutely. So, but they have their fun points. They do. And they have some cool spells. I mean, they can cast Hold Person. They can cast Rave Enfeeblement. Tasha's Uncontrollable Hideous Laughter. They can get Confusion. They can cast Feeble Mind even. They can cast some decent spells, but they're not meant for Frontline Thief. They're meant to be an RP class. So just want to put it out there. But the reason I talk about this Dragon 60 is even better, and this is all on the two other things right after the Jester article. In fact, the original Jester spell list is on both halves. That was weird. Oh, my son came in. Say hi. My son is charging his iPad. Now we'll talk about this again with bards, but this is the ultimate bard ability that no one knows about. It's called Diarmuid's Last Jest, and this is right underneath the part of the Jester article. That's why I say this was a great Dragon magazine. This is basically... No, why don't you explain this? One of you guys give it a shot on this bardic ability that no one probably uses it but us, because you need to know about this article in order to use this.
You used it once on us that I can...
Yes.
That I can remember. I don't remember all the details behind it, but it's basically, I know the bard goes into a story, and effectively that it's almost like a magical story that entrances people, and everybody has to make a save at the end or die, if I remember correctly.
It is a joke, actually. It is a joke, and basically a bard can attempt to learn this every level they go up after first. And it just starts out very basic. It says, once there was a traveling merchant who stopped at a simple crofter's farmhouse. Now, and then it tells a joke. And the joke, if you hear the whole joke in its entirety in a language that's your native language, and you, at the end of the joke, you fail your save, and the bard makes his charm ability, you die laughing. It actually will kill you from laughter. Which, think about, have you ever laughed so hard it hurt? Well, I guess this hurts a little bit more. Great thing, I know of 2 or 3 bards in our campaign actually have this ability and use it. I used it on the group once. I got a couple of them killed off by, they got raised, but they died because they laughed to death. So this is in that Dragon 60 as well. So if anyone, and you can see, if you need any help getting it, it's a great, cool, powerful thing for bard. But then, Mark, we go beyond that. Your favorite article of all time is right after this. Are you ready?
Go for it. Yes.
Now, the Midgets in the Earth, again, Roger Moore, the Midgets in the Earth article, which is hysterical, okay? This is one of the funniest articles ever written in Dragon Magazine. It details 3 characters. 2 of them, I've used 2 of them in my campaign. One created a whole subculture in our entire campaign, all right? And we've used it to this day, even in Altamira. So the first one is Itty Little Daddy Smitman, who's basically a kobold who created the and you guys have seen him in Bard's Tale. I mean, I'm sorry, it's Baldur's Gate. The original Baldur's Gate had kobold commandos. This is the article that the kobold commando comes from, where they're flying on their bats and they're dropping stuff on top of you. This is the article, okay? That's number 1. 2.
Mork the Orc.
We'll go down to the bottom. Mork the Orc is in here. So obviously a pun on Robin Williams, but Mork the Orc has this. Yeah, absolutely. Zwarts. Alan had a guy critically hit and killed by his Zwart once, and he wasn't happy about it. Remember that?
Yeah, it was a 6'4" female archer, and critical hit, struck in head, immediate death.
No,
I'm
throat.
like, how did his struck in throat? How did his heart get that high?
I agree with you, Alan. That's crazy.
No, you were bending down and right up through. Hey,
Yep.
So, all right. So, Mork the Orc. Mork the Orc is, if you stay with him, I think an entire day, or I don't know how long it is. He smells bad. He never shuts up. This was a joke article, but it's hysterical. You can actually get a wish. The gods grant you a wish for putting up with him for a certain amount of time. But this disadvantage thing in 5e, he gives you permanent disadvantage when you're with him. So yeah, it's bad. Put it into 5e perspective for Naz and everyone. And then, last but not least, a character we still use to this day and his organization, Yuban Had. This is a funny story. Yeah, Tim's laughing just thinking about it, right? So Yuban Had was the Holy Order of the Gizmo of the Holy Halfling or whatever, and he would just, he'd go around proclaiming things, and he was a super high level 20 thief with psionics, the Halfling with psionic ability, and it's just a funny story. But he created an organization, and go ahead, Mark, what's the organization name? Spunk. What does it stand for?
Small Persons.
Short Persons Union for Nefarious Kleptomania.
Short Persons Unions for Nefarious Kleptomaniacs. All right, it's Spunk. So you have to be a halfling, a gnome, a pixie, something very small. But in Altamira, yeah, you like that, Anna? This is great. I love this. I saw this and I was like, oh, this is great. Spunk is now in the city of Altamira because you have the deposed. Oh my God, my own guy forgot.
Harry.
Yeah.
Darius.
Yes. Darius the deposed. My God, I'm turning 50. Yeah, 52. It's bad. Darius the deposed runs the Thieves Guild in Altamira and has. I know you got to go. So.
See you later.
All right. Enjoy Game of Thrones. Boop, we'll be up to 2. So. Darius the deposed is in, and he hates halflings because of what happened with Alan's character Sam and in Highport, and now he's in seeking revenge on him. He's the one that turned Boyd evil, and he has this master plan. He's there. He does not allow halflings, gnomes, or dwarves in his guild, right? He hates them. He hates all the short people. So Spunk has gotten word of this now. Spunk has come into Altamira with their own guild and their own organization. So now you have Spunk, and some of the members of some of the groups have actually joined Spunk in Altamira, and now that's the second Thieves Guild. So we're ramping up now some Thieves Guild conflicts between Darius's the deposed, who's a dual class Cavalier thief. So he was, think about that. He was a Cavalier, lost all his money, was on bad times, chaotic neutral, and then became a thief out of necessity and became high level. Now he's a guild master. And now Spunk is there. Now You've Had has not made his appearance yet there. Now I know you've adventured with him, Mark, and I've adventured with him. So Great article. Guys, it's hysterical. Read it. This is, like I said, it's one of the 3 best Dragon. Number 60 is one of the 3 best, in my opinion, because of all this cool stuff in here. So that's all I wanted to bring up as part of the Jester. Any input from you guys? What do you think? Questions?
No, enough said.
Enough said about that. Yes, and only military Guyana can remember that. Can remember that in an acronym. But just goes to show you there are some tidbits of stuff back in Dragon magazines going back 30, 40 years, like Diarmuid's Last Jest, that no one uses, that we use because, we found it then and we're like, oh, this is great. This is a great ability for a bard to have, to actually kill someone laughing. So I wanted to bring that up, but we're going to talk about the bard, I think, in the future. The quest generator from April Fool's 2000, that's a good one too, man. That's a good one too. They did a lot of funny stuff. I think Tim would probably say the one with the anti-paladin in it, or one of those, is probably one of the best ones. So
there's an anti-paladin in the thing about You've Been Had.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Oh, yes.
Hire an anti-paladin to get rid of all these little thieves, and he, by accident, his saddle, when he passed a group of hairy-footed children, his saddle suddenly came undone, and he fell into the fountain. And they found that he had fallen on a sword and dagger 26 times before all these kids could help get him out of the fountain.
And he took poison, too.
Oh, yes, that's right.
And then the ringleader had fallen from an upper story of floor from a building twice.
After tying himself to a chair.
Yes. That's the kind of humor that's in this article. So we will save the bard for another time. How's that sound? We'll go, because in synopsis, our bards, plethora of paladins. We talk about it almost every week, the plethora of paladins article. We have Babunski, you probably didn't know it, and Blake Ryan, you probably weren't around when we discussed it. I did delving into the paladin probably about 2 months ago. We have the Undead Hunter, and we have the Inquisitor as subclasses of paladin that are really cool. We don't, and they could be different alignments besides lawful good. But that we never used that plethora of paladins article, but it is a cool article, and it gives you some ideas. Oh yes, the Inquisitor, ripped right off of Baldur's Gate too. Keldor and Firecam, remember him? He was an Inquisitor, and Inquisitors are great because they get information, and they can be, in our game, lawful good, lawful neutral, or lawful evil. The threes that Inquisitors can be. And then Undead Hunters can be lawful neutral, neutral good, lawful good. Yeah. So we do have those 3. We have Paladin, Fighter subclass, Cavalier subclass. There's 2 different types of Paladins depending on which direction you want to go. And then Undead Hunter, which is always a Fighter Paladin type, and Inquisitor, which is always a Fighter Paladin type. Cool stuff. The YouTube mirror will have it. If it's not available in my videos here, on delving into the paladin, it'll be on our YouTube mirror, Lord Space Gazumba. Then you can find that video on that we did delving into the paladin. So, what do you think in closing on Illusionists and Shadow Mages, gents? I think we went over a lot that shows that it's a cool. That can be really useful. It could change up from just fireball, lightning bolt. You know what I mean? So.
It's good campaigns that are heavy role playing because they really are subtle. They can be subtle.
Yes, they can be very subtle, and they can. Yes, we are talking Illusionists. We are bouncing all over the place, Walt, which is what we always do, which is great. Which is the best. So, Babunski, I say you need to convince them on the paladins because paladins are fantastic. Just being gnomes and humans makes it limited. Mark, you brought up that point. That is absolutely true. I never even thought about that because we're an elven-based game.
Yep.
A lot of elves and half-elves. So that really does limit the Illusionist. I know Wayne tried that one time. We don't want to go there. We just don't. And we said only 3 ever in the Order of Ulick out of 211 characters in the Order of Ulick.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. You can always pump up. You can always pump that class up at Boonsky. That's definitely true. We give spellcasting abilities earlier in 1E, 2E as well. We for Paladin fighters, we give it to them at 4th, not at 8th or 9th. So that helps them as well. I'll say this: if anyone needs help building, like wants to grow an Illusionist or a Shadow Mage, I'll help you on the spell list. I'll help you with the references. You really need to pull it from a ton of books, and that takes a lot of time because and some of these books are old and they're not cheap anymore. But Lords of Darkness, Champions of Ruin have good shadow spells in them. Also, Pages from the Mages and the Seven Sisters reference, all very good for Illusionist spells and for Shadow Mage spells to really flesh out your listing of spells there as we do that in synopsis. I'll just say that I think I'm excited about one day we'll figure out what's going on with the Shadow Mage in Altamira. No one knows, and we'll figure out what happens to Boyd one day when that he's evil and he can't. He does a lot of nasty things to all the squatters in town. Now there aren't anymore, right? And we'll get back to also deal or no deal with Galena. She's an Illusionist in the city of Greyhawk. What's going to happen there with that group? Mark, you were part of that one, right? Oh, yeah, of course, Heather, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Heather and Copus.
So if you know things, if everyone watching knows about the history of the Beggars Guild, Tim, you remember what happened in the Beggars Guild years ago?
Something nasty.
The Beggars Guild got too greedy, and Theobald, King of Junk, actually started a war with the Thieves Guild, right? And then the Thieves Guild took them out completely, and then they had to sue for peace or whatever. Well, it turns out that Galena and her group found an artifact. It was a rod of rulership for the King of the Beggars, and they actually made a deal for a property in Greyhawk City.
Yep.
And gave the rod of rulership, the King of the Beggars rod of rulership, to his son, who is from Divers now and is back to take revenge on the Thieves Guild of Greyhawk. So, so that's a long-term one planning too. I'm looking for a big mashup between the Divers, Hardby, and the Greyhawk City Thieves Guilds, and we'll see where that one goes. But I'm just saying, Galena is involved in that as an Illusionist. So, Mark, what do you got going on tomorrow night?
So tomorrow is the continuation of the trip to meet Double A. It is a slap where they have been commissioned they were getting bored in Overlook, and they were commissioned to go from the nose. The nose.
Yeah, that was pretty good, man. That was pretty good.
He has commissioned them to go through this forest and meet up with his friend Double A and bring a package back from him. And so it's some interesting characters that they will actually meet. It is a parody on so far as what they believe is on the Wizard of Oz. Interesting.
Oh, cool.
So, that's the opportunity to tune in.
Where the Yellow Brick Road? Don't step off the Yellow Brick Road, Tim. Right?
Yeah.
Step off the Yellow Brick Road.
In this case, it's actually the Copper Brick Road.
We're gonna rate when we're done. We're gonna rate Tabletop Notch tonight. Okay, it's a new one. I have. They're real cool people, and we're gonna hit them up with a raid when we're finished tonight and say hello.
Yeah.
So so tomorrow night.
Finish up. It's from 6 to 9 tomorrow. So if you have the opportunity to tune in, please tune in. We'd appreciate it. It's going to be mostly role play. There's going to be some action that's going to be going on too, but mostly role play.
Tim, so when am I going to see you again on a Thursday night?
I don't know.
Hey, you're honest, man. That's good. So, all right. I have it, guys. This is entitled The Tenebrous Deep. This is Carlos Lysing's third module written for our campaign. And it'll be low level. It'll be after we do our event we're going on right now. It is the event which we have, Defense of the Watchers Towers. If anyone watched Thursday night, that's going to go for another at least 2 to 3 weeks. But Carlos's third module he has written for my campaign, the Order of Ulick, and it'll be taking place right outside of Warmonger's Tower again. So, and it's for the proper levels. He set it up. So we'll be running this in a couple months.
I'm starting to believe that Carlos is just really wanting to kill us all off.
I was going to say, I said, is he going to be really mean again? Nasty again?
Oh, that's right. Your character died, didn't he? Last adventure,
Yeah.
Finder, he died. Yeah.
He certainly was the least deserving. There's plenty of other characters that probably should have died.
Now, yes, I'll give you this. Carlos and I are at Gen Con, and it may be filled already because signups were started today. The first Thursday at the convention, August 1st, we're running a joint DM adventure called Horror in the Hools, written by me. I run the first 4 hours of the adventure, hour break. It starts at 10 a.m. on that Thursday, and then Carlos finishes up the last 4 hours of it. I'm looking forward to doing a joint DMing gig with Carlos. Great guy. First time I've ever DM'd at Gen Con too. So that's coming up with Carlos and me as well, doing that together at Gen Con. I'm looking forward to
They
that.
may not be familiar with Just Know. They may not be familiar.
Oh, the No Just Know. Well, here, since it's the $24.99 sub, probably no one. Jeff did it once. So there you go. There's the No Just Know. Yes, No Just Know. Yes. Bill picking the old Bill picking his nose. Some other announcements for what we got going on here. We got Marks on Monday. We have the finishing up of Scenario 2 to the Rescue Thursday night, as people had seen. I'm going to throw up a pic here just to show you the carnage. Low came on Thursday night and goes, "That's a lot of bodies." That we have here. Let me throw up one pic I just took. Here we go. This one. We'll do this one. There we go. So there's the fight going on right now. Now a lot of that was preset, but you have death everywhere. So you have some characters. You have here's the quick synopsis on this. The Prince of Ulick's troops are building their own keep outside of the Watcher's Towers, and everything is going wrong. It's falling down because there's no magical protections on it, and it's sinking. And so, Mark, your character Arden is up here with left Horkard the Magnificent and a Priestess of Clangeddon. They're the only 3 left alive. And wow. Yes, the Order of Ulick is going out to rescue them, and that's the adventure we're doing now. And there's a lot of carnage there. There's a lot of fighting going off to the side. So that's what's going on right now on Thursday. And then Scenario 3 will probably begin after this, a little later that evening for this. And it's a scenario-based event. Once we get through all the scenarios, depending on how they did, that'll determine the final fight, their success level or failure. So yeah, that's the way I'm doing this. I'm not doing this in one big mashup fight like we did when the invasion of Winchester's Bulwark. We did that. So that's a cool thing. Just wanted to show you that picture. And the end of this fight, Scenario 1, ended this way on Thursday night. And you see the Deathmaster and is dead lying there. Garth has a water elemental out there, and there's the rest. They found Grimbold. Mark Grimbold came back.
Oh, okay.
Yes, Grimbold was out there with a broken leg. His leg was teetering off. He had 6 hit points. He got hit by a mummy, couldn't get healed, so he was hiding out in the muck until he was the only one alive from that whole patrol. All the other doors were killed. So that's how that fight ended. And so there's Schlemmen, there's Tom the Vindicator, Sarah, Pellinor, Garth. That was a good fight too. So Scenario 1 was successful. So there you go. And that's what happened on Thursday night. And then I wanted to talk, hopefully Celestia and Mike, you're still on. Next Sunday, we are going to do a special. I don't see him on. He may have logged for Game of Thrones. Next Sunday, we're going to do Fantasy Grounds and D&D. So Mike, Celestian, GC, one of our subs, actually did the coding for it. So I'm going to bring him on, and I'm going to bring up Duff from Praetor's Rejects is going to come on too. And he's going to join us because he missed the last Dungeon Masters roundtable because he was at a convention. So Duff is going to join us as well. You know what, Babuski, let me talk to you on the side, man. I may be able to fit you in too because I know you're huge on it too. Let's talk about that. That's a good idea. Because it's going to be when I am a novice, and if Brian, our DM, who uses it, I want Celestion to show us the 2E version stuff we can do, some tricks of the trade. That's why I really, that's why Duff's coming on, because he loves it. I want to show people that you can play old school again, and you don't have to be at a table like us. This is the whole idea, and you can get together, and like if say Tim's at one place, Mark's in another, and we can all get together on this VTT program, and we can play old school Greyhawk D&D now on Fantasy Grounds with the 2E version. And so, that's awesome, dude. That's awesome to hear, and that's I love both of you. And that's the thing is that that's why we're going to do it. We'll do Fantasy Grounds and D&D next week, and then the week after that, the Sunday after that, I want as many people on to participate as that one. It's Gabbin number 48, just titled 2 words: Dark Elves.
Didn't we do that already?
No, you remember Carlos coming on and arguing about it, remember?
Yeah,
That was separate.
I remember having the dark. Oh, yeah. I remember I said something like, I said something pretending like I was a dark elf when I answered your silly question.
Exactly. So I decided we're going to do a whole episode on Dark Elves. We're going to do an episode on our dark version of Dark Elves, the Forgotten Realms version of Dark Elves. I don't even want to know about what happened to him in 5e, but in our world, how we've balanced them out, what we do differently, some of the key characters in our campaign, good and bad. Talk about the houses of all the houses of Erohai Sinlu, that a Klavjer belongs to, all those. We'll go through that list. I mean, that's what we're going to do. So we're going to do one I think it'll be a good one, just to get out there and say, here's our version of Dark Elves. Here's Drizzt, where you don't want to be, right? And then and so that'll be 2 episodes, and that'll be good. And then on Saturday night, June 1st, please don't forget, guys, it was hugely popular. Brian will be DMing again, part 2 of Iris of the Moon, Saturday night, June 1st. I will be playing my Avery Rothschild, my priest. Then Naz will be playing, Anna Meyer's playing, and Will from Return of the Bandit Kingdoms is taking Bill's place in that game. He'll be playing a fighter, and then I have room for one more. And I've offered it to my players. If one of my players wants to jump in, you guys are welcome to. Alan's thinking about it, but he's really hesitant because he doesn't know anything about 5e. But so we still have room for one more of our local player guys to hop in there. But we're going to continue with part 2 of Iris of the Moon in 5e. So what do you got, guys? You got anything else brewing that you want to talk about? I know no, it was a good one. Hopefully you guys liked the discussion on the Illusionist. We went over some key stuff. Like I said, I will do any kind of episode anyone gives me suggestions on. And I just I knew that this was Anna, thanks, but let's surprise Tabletop Notch here. I guarantee you they'll be shocked if they see, if we get 25 to 30 people coming in, it'll be cool. So let me set this up real quick, and then we'll go to an end screen. But I appreciate everyone hopping on tonight. I know it's a Game of Thrones finale. I know there's a lot going on. We're doing this Fantasy Grounds next week. I know it's Memorial Day weekend next weekend. Hey, if you're not around, hey, it's no big deal. You can catch it catch it off the side. But I think the Fantasy Ground things, yeah, thanks, man. Thank you. Like I said, that's what we are the old school guys. We try and make this as fun as possible for everyone to get out there and just think about the old school and think about the cool way that we play all the time, and just want to share it with everyone here. So here we go. Tabletop Notch. I'm going to hit that raid button. Hopefully this thing works. It's building. Oh, nice. All right. That'll be good. All right, guys. Thanks a lot. We'll see you soon. Have a good one. Hope you have a great night. Talk to you all soon, guys.